All right. Well, welcome into the half. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at our success group. Sitting next to me is Erich Campbell, who you can find over at erichcampbell.com. Erich, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing all right, doing all right. Could use some more caffeine, as we discussed in the pre-show run-up.
Are you
But
feeling decaffeinated?
oh god, the dad joke today. Brian Bothka for the dad joke on Two Other Guys. Absolutely, you could say killed it, but by killed it, I mean everyone's ability to laugh. That was
Yeah.
that was a rough one, my man.
Yeah, yeah, it was a tad rough, but hey, it's all good.
It was.
That's what dad jokes
It
are
was.
supposed to be. They're supposed to be a tad rough. So,
Yes,
um,
indeed,
and that
indeed.
was lean much more towards the. So Cindy says, "Wow, Erich, you're really bouncing around shows."
I do that, and I'm also clicking buttons I'm not supposed to. That was Aaron's doing his job. I gotta
Yeah,
keep my
you have to make
hands to
that transition.
myself.
That's a tough because we had a short
A tough
turnaround from two regular
transition.
guys.
We
That's a
surely
tough
did.
transition for you. You're doing it all, and then now you're just supposed to sit here and look pretty. So,
Yeah, right. And I never do that very well.
oh, come on. All right,
Oh man. Yes,
Daniel,
yes.
tuning in from LinkedIn. It's good to see you,
Good
sir.
to see you, and good to see you on LinkedIn. That's cool. Like I said, we've had some new people showing up from LinkedIn, so glad to see that the live streaming is working over there. So
Yep,
awesome. Thank you.
for sure. And then
And
Clara, good
Clara,
morning.
yeah.
Clara, sorry, excuse me. Good morning from California.
Yeah, good. Thank you for coming in for sure. Oh yeah, I dropped a comment real quick on something. Yeah, you're right. This is true. I saw something on Facebook. I was relaunching my computer and I dropped a comment. So yes, I have been known to comment everywhere I can because I just if I see something that I have anything to say about, I can't help myself. Sorry.
Hello, Kim Johnson. Thanks for tuning
Hello,
in.
Kim.
Todd, talking about the dad joke from two regular guys today, says Brian just showed that the stakes, pun on words, there aren't high for
Ah,
dad jokes. So,
okay, here's now because we're talking about it, we don't know if people have showed up. This is it,
I,
it pains me to do this.
ah,
It pains me to do this. But the dad joke was, did you hear about the cow that was tired after she gave birth? And the answer was, yeah, she was decaffeinated.
uh,
It hurts me in my soul to repeat that twice. But because we're talking about the joke, we have to do it now because not everybody gets the reference. Now, what I'm going to suggest is if you've missed out on the excellent dad jokes and content from Two Regular Guys, go to Two Regular Guys anywhere you find us on social media and go watch the show. We had a great one on niche marketing this morning, which was awesome.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
the boys were talking about niche marketing and it was fantastic because it doesn't mean what people think it means. And I think we actually got into the concept that marketing to a niche is an outgoing thing you're doing. It's not changing your shop, it's messaging into the niche to sell them on your product. And I think that that's something that does not get said. Every time I talk about niche marketing, somebody's like, oh, but I don't want to reduce what I'm doing, and I don't want to change my shop, and I don't want to change the title, my logo. It's always this weird stuff that they think they have to do to market into a niche, and I'm like, none of that is necessary. We're not talking about giving away processes, not taking other customers. We're talking about marketing into a niche, making a message that's crafted for a niche, and getting really good at servicing a certain group of people.
yeah.
That is not the same. It's not cutting a part of your business off. It's a focused campaign toward the right customers for you.
Yeah.
So I mean that was an awesome episode today. So I just have to
Good.
say that. Go back and catch the episode, guys.
Nice,
It's really
nice,
good.
and great explanation, Erich. I'm
Mm,
glad you chimed in on that for sure.
well, thank you.
So, all right, Barb says good morning from North Central Minnesota,
Good morning.
and Barbara, good morning from Kentucky. So, appreciate Barb and Barbara joining us here, and then
Absolutely.
Ramona says you have to.
I didn't have to, but sometimes you make bad decisions in your life, like
And
Brian
then you
did.
immediately regret them, right?
You immediately
Um,
regret them, but come
yeah,
on.
yeah. And then Mike talking about the joke says that joke was so cheesy it made me blue, as
Did
in
you have
blue
time to think
cheese.
about it and you wanted to get a couple more in? 'Cause
uh,
that's not fair. That's not
Todd won't
fair.
stop if we keep doing this, but that's what we do on the half. We just keep doing it. So um, we have been steered wrong by the dad jokes today.
New
Yes.
joke. New joke. Somebody, new joke. Come on.
Lisa says, good morning, gentlemen. Happy Friday. Good to
Yes,
see you,
Lisa Shaw of
Lisa.
So Bubbles. Go check out her content too. Lisa's been doing great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. She
So
always
as
does.
always, as
Can't
always.
wait to Eric. I'm going to get
I
an
know.
opportunity to make you feel jealous here, but
I know.
I get to go hang out with Lisa again in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
we have worked together on projects, like massive amounts of work together, and I've never met Lisa personally. And Aaron's going to hang out with her twice before I meet her once. But hey,
Yeah. All right. You're just gonna have to like do a rock star, just show up and
I know I
I'm
need to
here.
go in and show up at one of these shows, or at least go up to Colorado one of these days and just do
Yeah.
it. It's not like
There
we're
you go.
that far away.
There you go. There you
But
go.
yeah,
Christy says, I thought it was actually a pretty funny joke. Not sure what that says about me. LOL. I think that says that
it was
you're
all
a
right.
funny person, Christy. So
I
thank
like wordplay too. I mean, I'm giving Brian a hard time about his joke because I can, and also
you.
because I like Brian. And I hate to
Yes.
say it, something that guys sometimes do is when we like each other, we throw rocks and make fun of each other.
Give
That's
each
just
other
how
a
we
hard
do. We
time.
give each other
Yep.
a hard time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's still pretty good. Come
Yep.
on. I'll give it to him.
Real quick here, Valerie says, let's move
Move
on.
on,
Oh boy. All right.
please,
All right.
please.
So
Let's
we're
do it.
moving on.
Yes.
Ramona has just a niche thought. If
Yes.
you are quick enough, a niche can be short lived. Think catchphrase that
Absolutely.
are only around for a bit.
Now, this is the thing. There's also different kinds of marketing. They have all these weird terms for it. It's all buzzwordy terms, but they kind of mean the same thing. So there's like newsjacking, which is where someone has a news story and you jump in on it so quickly that as something is inside of that 24-hour news cycle, you have a product that's related to something that's happened. They have moment marketing, same kind of thing. Like, let's say somebody has a really quotable thing that they say where there's some words or terminology, it comes out in a news story, in an interview, and you attach to that and make something related to that really quickly. And actually, we had an example. You were talking about the rally scroll. We had an example today from two other guys where it's like something happened, there's an event, something goes on, and I'll tell you, this is what I remember it from. I can't remember which Super Bowl it was. It was a Super Bowl where the lights all went out. And I remember distinctly,
Oh yeah.
there were all these brands who were watching carefully. And it's like, the lights went out, and within minutes, the one that I remember distinctly on Twitter, Oreo had a friggin' ad related to it where they talked about the lights going out and blackouts and related it to like Oreo cookies. And then they had merch. Like, it was within minutes of this event happening. So those things that's the ultimate really short-term marketing, but also you can have just a short-term niche. And popularity of these things can wane really quickly. You don't have to reformat your whole business just to come up with an idea, throw a mock-up out there, get some sales done, especially when you're doing digital decorating. If you're a digital decorator, this stuff should be the water you swim in. I think.
For sure. I agree. A more recent example of that kind of moment marketing, and this is not to get political or say anything like that, whether you agree with it or not, but there was a lot of the Let's Go Brandon merch out there. And again, not saying anything about political or was it right or was it wrong.
We'll cut that right off if the comments get wild. Folks. I'll let you know. But
one time we won't get to the comments because we're not going to go there because it's not productive. But the point being is that people had digital marketing, whatever.
It was an interview. It happened really quickly. The phrase took off and people marketed on it. I'll also say this. I've been on both sides of it when the Make America Great Again hats came out. And this is where you can get upset at me. I always think of embroidery and apparel decoration as almost like the press, where I want everybody to be able to say what they want to say. I ended up being in a news story by accident because I helped people make there was a group of Native Americans here in New Mexico, and I helped them make a Make America Native Again hat. And they wanted a style that was similar. And I knocked out a thing. It was text. I thought nothing of it. And I didn't think it was going to be in the news, but it turned out to be in the news. You don't know what's going to take off like that. The thing is, people play off of each other's phrases and news stories pretty constantly. And so without being political, like I said, I've been on both sides of just about any political argument, because if you're in this industry, you will decorate for different people with different sides of this thing. But yeah, certainly it's those moments where something takes off and becomes popular. You can have a niche that is just, I'm going to make stuff related to that for a minute. And it makes me think of things like, as much as they're overplayed now, the straight outta memes, the parental advisory meme shirts for a while there. Those kind of meme shirts, that's a very classic temporary niche. I think it's not niche enough. Truthfully, some of the meme stuff is not niche enough for you to just not get, blown away with the mass amounts of people doing it. But there are certainly people who jump on things quickly and make it happen. Or during the pandemic, all of the people who are making the campaigns, that was a niche. If you want to think about it, these campaigns that were meant to help out localities, and now I've lost the name for the stuff that we were talking about. Do you remember we did the show with everybody? We had the now I can't remember the base name of the campaigns.
I
But
can't
yeah,
either.
it's like there was a ton of these campaigns helping out, local business.
Yeah.
Here for good.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Here
Here
for
for good.
good. Here
There
for
you
good.
go. Thank you.
And there was other versions of that coming out, and those were quick, and they're not being done as much now. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
some of that's still happening, but not nearly like it was during the first year of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
these things can be temporary, but that's okay. If you focus quickly and throughout your message, get something out there, you don't have to reformat your business forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally
And
true.
yeah. So, all right. Well, let's, I mean, we've got some of the comments here, so let's get to those. But, we can't let this whole cow joke die. So,
Oh man.
Todd, I had to turn off the music to the show could get my full attention.
Sure.
Lisa said yes, and we're having coffee and donuts on the panel. Yes, I'm excited about that. So yes, Eric Campbell, I need to road trip to Albuquerque. So
At some point, we will figure this out.
yep, there you go. And Todd producing
good.
for us in the background here for good. Yep, good job. And
Yep.
other producing action from Todd here.
Getting quick on that Google, my
Ravens
man.
Niners Super Bowl, in case anyone was wondering.
Yep.
And then Ramona said I was going to mention that one myself, but didn't want to get political.
Yeah.
And again, it's not about getting political.
No.
It's about kind of understanding what a niche means and whatnot. So
Sure.
she mentioned that I did a Black Lives Matter white over red hat that includes a line under it said "Fooled you, didn't I?"
Yep.
So yeah, like you talked about, Eric, it's kind of part of what we do as decorators. It's because Todd follows that up with if it aligns with your values, print it. If it doesn't, don't. Right, and it is your business. You get to make that
totally
choice.
And I'll say I have because I'm actually going to talk about this. The show that I'm doing this afternoon is about kind of design red flags. One of the red flags for me is if you do something that is outwardly hateful, I will not.
Yeah.
And I have turned down jobs and refused to work on things that were outwardly hateful.
Yep.
I will not. So it's like absolute outward racism, sexism, hate, I will not do, and you won't catch me digitizing for it. That's a choice I made early on in my career.
Sure.
Violence and awful things, no thank you. I'm not really into that.
Yeah.
But a lot of other stuff, I try and give everybody a chance to say what they need to say. There are certain things I won't mess with, but that is a personal choice for everybody. And on shows like this where we're talking to everybody, I try and be very open and say, hey, like Todd says, if it aligns with your values, do what you got to do. If it doesn't, don't. But I will say, yeah, it's there are lines for a lot of us, and that's my
for sure. Yosta checking in. Thanks for being here. Ramona talking about that line.
Yeah.
Says my line includes anything encouraging physical harm. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I've got a few of those.
Yeah. Good. All right, guys. Well, what other questions you guys have for us? What other burning questions or things that we need to discuss here? I think we've gone ahead and covered the dad joke situation. I think we've covered niche marketing a little bit, so I don't want to encourage any more of that.
Yep.
Okay. So we've got somebody checking in from Romania. We're visiting parents.
Nice.
Adeline. Yeah, thank you. Jeez. I don't know why all of a sudden I decided I was going to mess up that name too. But be back in the States next week. All right. Well,
yes.
Hopefully you can.
Well, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
sure.
Appreciate you dropping by and tell your parents hello for us.
Internet problems abound. We've all, because Aaron and I, and Aaron more than me, we've been road warriors. We've all had every manner of internet while we're trying to stream, we're trying to watch for sure. So we understand.
Yeah,
that's always tough, especially now
Yeah.
when you're sharing connections with people. I always feel bad. Like I will be in a situation where my wife and I are both trying to do lives at the same time, and even with internet that I certainly pay more for than I want to, doesn't always work out.
Yeah. All right. So Todd says, "What's the food spread for Sunday?" So I will not be. Not that I really cared because I stopped watching football a long time ago, but I'm actually coaching a volleyball tournament all weekend, and they play on Sunday. I don't know what time we play yet. Well, we won't know until we figure out how we do tomorrow. But so yeah, we're gonna skip the Super Bowl this year. So no Super Bowl for me. Am I even allowed to say that? But
wow, I know. I mean, that's
we've been shut down. Hold on.
That's almost blasphemous in the U.S. But I'll say I'm not a big watcher either. I'm working throughout the weekend. I've got a lot to catch up on in every facet of what I need to get done. So I'm not really planning on something. However, what I will say is my wife is an incredible fan of that Rotel cheese dip that people make for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So she's like, I don't care if we watch or not. Get out that tiny crock pot and make that freaking Rotel because that's happening. We'll tune
Oh.
in between work sessions and I'm going to have some chips. So that's
Oh,
just happening. It doesn't matter if the Super Bowl's on or not.
dang it. Now you've just so
I know.
one
Like
of
I
my
need that.
favorite things is buffalo chicken dip. Just a lot of cream
Oh,
cheese, a lot of buffalo Frank's Red Hots,
and
and all.
I'm on the bad side of my weight loss right now. I need to get back on it. I am absolutely, I'll say that pandemic has not been nice. The second half of that was not nice to my my waistline. I got real locked in for a while
Nice.
there.
Yeah. Yep.
And no, I don't need a bunch of cheese food, processed cheese food.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not what we need.
All right. And Ellen says, I will. Okay. Eustace says, are you missing dad jokes? And I can help. Yes, I always get.
Yosta has good dad jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. I always get great messages from him on my messenger with the Ben Stiller one.
Yes,
I
that was
shared
pretty
that
good.
one on
That's pretty
Facebook.
good.
I shared that on my personal Facebook. That one's a great one. And then Eustace says, admit it, you only look at the Super Bowl so you can see the new Budweiser things.
No, I used
The
to tune in
commercials.
for the commercials. Yeah, that was a big deal. There used to be kind of the ad bowl where you'd have people who were really big into ads and design and marketing who would show up and talk about it. And I love that. Twitter, when they were launching the news campaigns, before everything went online first, that was awesome. You know, there's a
Yeah.
period of time where watching that stuff was great because I do love, I'm a marketing guy. I like
Yeah.
marketing and
Yeah. And
design.
you're just learning. Yeah. I think
Oh,
it's
I
great.
love seeing what they do for
Yep.
sure. For sure.
Yep. In fact, you know what? You can even find now. It was a thing on Amazon that I found where it just has previous Super Bowl commercials for each year. So you just watch the commercials.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it
yeah.
for all the wrong reasons, mostly design trends and stuff like
Yep.
that. I like to watch that.
Yep. All right. Lisa says no Super Bowl here. I love that our admin Sarah started the Brilliant and Brilliance group during the Super Bowl 8 years ago. So lots of cool things happen.
Yeah, you know, here's the other thing we do, and here's where I'm calling myself out. Back in the day, we had watched cable. My wife always tuned into Animal Planet because they have the Puppy Bowl, but that wasn't the big thing. It was the Kitten Halftime Show. This is a cat household, and the Kitten Halftime Show is a must-watch. So.
Everybody getting involved. I love it. I love it. All right. Todd's got pork butts going on the smoker today. 20 pounds of wings for a wing bar to go along with the baked potato bar. The fingers, the finger foods of meats, cheese, and crackers.
Oh,
No
man.
snack stadium this year, though. Yet. So.
Snack stadium. I'm just not in as well as you are, my man. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not in that far. Rotel's happening though. So.
I have not seen a single snap of football this year, and I don't plan on changing that. So.
No, I'm not quite as bad as I used to be. I will actually watch and listen to it, or if I'm seeing my parents and my dad he watches a lot of games, I will watch with him and ask what's going on. And I do know the rules of the game. That's about it. But mostly it's kind of like sports ball. Who sports the hardest? They look like they really wanted to sports more than the other guy. I'm usually
I mean, I'm into sports. I had enough with football, and I felt like I needed to get my time back. Right? It just felt like I was wasting so much time. So.
No, I'm too much of a geek. I'm sorry, guys. If you want to know, I'm a nerd. I'll be more likely to watching, Star Trek than that. But hey, that's how it is.
Yeah, because I did binge Agent Carter last night, so that was
nice.
Dumb. All right. Ramona says, anyone watching the Olympics curling tonight? Love the precision required for curling.
Nope. But like I said, I've been covered up. I've been doing a lot of working. So.
And to be honest with you, I was unaware that the Olympics were even happening until Todd, I don't know if it was a week ago or so, asked me about curling. I'm like, what? I didn't even know it was on. So
we've been so busy in our household that it's kind of like we can stop for one show with dinner. That's about what we can do. We got about 45 minutes and we stop for that period of time right now. And so it's like, nope, we pretty much stream old stuff so that we don't make any decisions. Then we don't have to choose what's going to go on. So no time-based stuff. I have to time shift everything. So no, only when we can start and stop.
Yep. Christy says, haven't watched football in years. Todd says, I just like to cook and have people and kids over. Yeah. So it's a community opportunity. Yeah. I totally get all that. And
Oh yeah, but Super Bowl is is one of the only times even I will put that on, even if I'm not watching it, because it is kind of like an American thing. It's just a thing you
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Mike says, I understand the sports, but I have way more pressing things to do than follow.
Yep.
That includes hockey, which is shameful for a Canadian. Yeah, Mike, let's keep that on the DL. I don't want you to get deported up there. You're like, you can't deport me on Canadian. Well, you don't like hockey, so you're out.
I don't know, yeah.
Or you don't
But are you
watch
really?
hockey.
That's
He doesn't like hockey.
had
So.
the same problem before, believe me. Whenever the football pool used to come around the shop, and I was like, I don't care. Sign me up for 5 if it makes you feel better.
Yep.
Like that, yeah. I invariably everybody's asking, like, what's your strategy? I'm like, whichever mascot I think is designed better.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yep. Todd talking about the
Yep.
Olympics says yes, watch when we can. Ramona shares, I digitize in front of the TV so I can watch. It's a
There's
smart
that.
idea.
Yep.
And since sports is not your market, then right. Yep. So exactly.
True. No, I mean, Aaron can do volleyball because he's deeply involved with volleyball. But yeah,
but I don't watch a whole lot. I mean, there isn't a whole lot to watch, but I will watch some. Like we'll go to games, and I love the community aspect of it. But that's not true. I have spent a whole day sitting there watching the Association of Volleyball Professionals, the AVP, the professional beach volleyball stuff. But I know all the stories, right? I've actually met a lot of those people, so it's kind of fun. But yeah. All right. And then I mentioned Agent Carter. Yes, there also was the completion of the Book of Boba Fett last night.
I haven't touched it yet.
Disney Plus happening. So
nope.
Let's get rid of that one. Yeah. So, Mike, I did try to clarify. I said I didn't like hockey. I said I don't follow it. All right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I got it. I got it.
Did try to. All right.
You won't tell anybody you're not following.
Yeah. Just Ship says Super Bowl commercials is the best part of the game. Yeah. I think a lot of people do tune in for the commercials, which is interesting, right?
For sure. I mean, honestly, that's. And also, whenever they do redesigns on uniforms or logo packages, I am all about that. I look at the branding, but that's the thing. I'm way more interested in your branding, color schemes, designs, and I understand that puts me in a weird place, but it is what it is, folks. That's what I'm more interested in that by far.
Yep, I get it. All right. So Marianne says, "Good morning from isolated MAS. We're getting well. So good.
Yeah, I hope you are getting feeling better for sure.
Good. Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
people in the same boat.
Yep, I definitely have been there. My sure, it's fine. My wife had it not terribly long ago, and we did our best to kind of isolate, but obviously we're still living in the same house, and my son and I did not get it, and we tested the whole time, and so.
That's always the hard thing when we're doing events is like, you're gonna have to test and get ready and be clear before you head out. That's always it's a scary time right now with that stuff.
Yep. And with me coaching volleyball and stuff like that, certainly last thing I want to do is, show up with these 12 young men and ruin their world too, so
yeah.
All right. Well, moving on here, Yosta says NBC has set a record deal for 2022 Super Bowl ads, asking for $6.5 million per 30 seconds. Yeah.
Wow. That's when you really mean your marketing. You have to mean that.
Well, and here's the other part about that maybe people don't necessarily, they probably do a little bit, but okay, $6.5 million. That's a lot of money, right? all the words you want to say with that. And with that being said, that's just for the 30-second air spot. That doesn't include the other millions of dollars they're going to spend to create that ad, the additional marketing that'll go along with that. They're going to spend millions of dollars on Facebook ads to follow that up probably as well. So it's a whole different world. And it is interesting to see, because I remember, you had the .com kind of people for a long time, all the GoDaddies and stuff like that. And then they went away, things changed, and all of a sudden they didn't have the millions of dollars to spend on it. And, so who's showing up, right? And what kinds of commercials are showing up? So I do think that's pretty interesting.
It does actually show the value of making sure you're marketing in the right place.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what ends up happening is they realize that, hey, that's not where our money is best spent. It felt like something that made me feel important, or it legitimized my business by being able to purchase one of those spots.
Yeah.
But it wasn't something that was actually fueling what I needed out of it, and I wasn't getting the return. I think that's fair to say. Whereas a lot of what goes on in supermarket, it's beer commercials, it's cars, it's mass market, and it makes sense for a mass market audience. It doesn't make sense for a niche market audience to try and use spam
You're not going to
broadcasting.
be niche marketing with your Super Bowl ad. So
No, much
you
as
need
I
to
love
get
the
as
concept,
many. You need to grab everybody. So
this is not Hedgehog Rescue
no, it
time.
is not.
Much as I very much love that concept.
Yeah. And Ramona kind of asked, what would they do if all the advertisers said no? I mean, at some point, people are going to have to, we may see that someday within our industry, like with the trade shows. How much it costs to get a booth at some of these shows.
100%.
And you're seeing that a little bit right now. People are kind of going, I don't know. So something's going to have to change, right?
Oh, no, and honestly, it is happening that way. We have providers and vendors that are not doing trade shows anymore.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly, because I was doing part of the marketing work for Black Duck during the time that we were phasing out the Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
I know that dates me and what have you, but fine. We actually hung out in the Yellow Pages much longer than anybody else in our industry in the area we were in Albuquerque, because we were still getting returns that were high on it. It was funny. We were still pulling a lot of returns out of being in the Yellow Pages way later than we should have been.
Yeah.
So this is not actually as far ago as you might think.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we watched that happen where there was this desperate need to move, and the Yellow Pages tried to turn itself into an online directory, and people just said no, and it died.
Yeah.
Like it just happened there. And the sad thing is, it doesn't go away. Everybody assumes, like, what if they said no and tomorrow the Super Bowl has no ads? It goes out with a whimper, not a bang.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of this stuff will trail on and become something else over time, and they'll shift it from one to the other. It's kind of like when people talk about the fall of the Roman Empire, there were several other versions of it that continued on and dragged on for hundreds of years after.
It's not till much later when you get the hindsight of all of everything where you have the
you classify that end after the fact. It ended a long time before it ended, if you want to put it that way.
Heck, it's kind of like people going out of business. They don't just go out of business and shut their doors. It's a gradual fall, and at some point they have to kind of pull the plug. Anyhow, let's not get into that negativity there.
No, here's the thing that we can say positively about it is up to all of us to look at our returns and say, what does it make the most money to spend our attention? And I think, it doesn't make the most attention or much sense for everybody.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yep. So Todd says, I saw when they factor it all in, they will spend about $30 to reach each viewer. When you look at it that way, not horrible.
So it says he actually says the numbers are backward later on here too.
Okay.
5 cents to reach each viewer, 7 million to get in front of 150 million people.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's the thing you have to look at. I know, doing digital advertising myself now and search advertising, we have to look at conversions. And when you start counting actual conversions, sale conversions, there's multiple kinds of conversions you can count on, click throughs or attention or signups to newsletters, whatever.
Yeah.
But you look at it, and if you are going down to money in, it is pretty common for people to accept a 20% rate.
Yep.
Like, you spend $1, you spend $1 to get 5. It is pretty normal.
Yeah. I mean, if your plan for revenue for the year is $100,000, I think you need to be planning throughout the course of the year to be spending 10, 20, probably $20,000.
It's not abnormal. That is not an abnormal return. That is an acceptable return. And I'll say that's the hard thing I had to come into. I have managed through just, I think, sometimes dumb luck or being in good markets to be in markets where I was getting better return than that. But then when I started researching the overall level return, especially working in Amazon as I have, it turns out that really people expect that ad spend to be pretty high. It's more than you might think. It's not 2% or 5%. It is up to 10 to 20% sometimes, especially when you're talking about conversions like that.
Yeah,
real money conversions, 20% is not out of the game.
Yeah, totally. All right. Todd says YRC has to be one of the worst shipping companies. 14 days from Florida to Illinois, and that's if it shows up Monday. That's tough.
Shipping is an age-old problem, my man.
Yeah. Marianne, can you imagine what we could do with that kind of money? You're talking about Super Bowl money for homeless or pet survival or adoption for humans.
Yeah.
And then Ramona follows up that, yep, I agree. Elon Musk lost a bunch of satellites this week to a solar storm. What could have been done with all that money to help others? A complete waste, and all of that junk floating around now. You do have your billionaire space race that's kind of question, like, what's the motivation here?
Here's what I'll say. There's advancements going on all over, but we should never forget the human equation. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. And it's their money, they've accumulated it, but they can do other things that maybe could be a little more useful. Again, they all have their reasons, but Same, same thing with your money. You get to do with it what you
Hey,
please, right?
same thing with our decoration. Whatever fits for you, whatever fits your purpose is what you choose to do, and whatever doesn't, you shouldn't. Here we go, ending on a message instead of laughing at each other. What the heck?
We can still laugh at each other. Good job. All right.
All
Thanks,
right,
everybody. We'll see you next week.
bye.